Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, and back for another episode of Rednecks and Pigskins, Blood on the Gridiron. And as you can see, we've got a nice new look. I've been playing around with OBS. I hope everything works out for you. I am by myself at the moment, so bear with me. Might be a little different today than usual. I did speak to J-Kid a little bit ago. He may or may not make it. He's only had a couple hours sleep. He does work for Walmart, and they have Christmas right around the corner, so you can imagine what he's going through. Hey, Corey. Glad you liked it. Let me know if you can't hear me or whatever. This is a work in progress, this OBS thing. So let me actually bring up where I can see chat a little better. All right. So here we are for another episode. Probably not going to do a whole lot of news, but before I did get into the stream, and I'd mentioned on the test stream I'd done earlier, I know there's not many of you out there just yet, but hey, I gotta do what I gotta do here. Minding Freedom may not be back for the rest of this season. He's having some personal issues, and he may be leaving the internet. I don't know how much he wants divulged. You can check his Twitter. There's a lot of details there. But the long and the short of it is he's got mixed up in some nonsense that he didn't have anything to do with. And now the threats to dox him are out there. And he knows that his information is out there, and he does live in Germany, where the rules are a lot stricter than they are here in the States for us. So I can't blame him for being a little bit frightened. So as of a conversation I had with him a little bit earlier today, he probably won't be back until next season. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do. So that's where he is right now. But I'm glad you all, everybody that's there is here, that's come out. Let me see here. And give me just a minute. Okay, hey Corey, if you could let me know, you're the one I know that's out there for sure. Let me know, make sure that you heard everything, will you? And while I'm waiting for confirmation, I'll just go ahead and go on. I really wasn't prepared. I didn't find out about minding until a short time ago, and I was in the middle of trying to figure out this OBS thing, so I didn't get to look up a whole lot of NFL news. I did try shortly before the stream to look up some stats and stuff, but I didn't have a lot of luck. I got frustrated and just quit. But I did have one story that was sent to me on Twitter by Colleen Bernier about Warren Sapp. Good, you can hear me. All right. Warren Sapp says he's still trying to figure out where's the sexual harassment, and the highlights of it are there has been a lawsuit brought against NFL Enterprises by wardrobe stylists who accuse Sapp and others of inappropriate sexual behavior. Jamie Cantor filed a wrongful termination lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court in October, and more detailed complaint Monday. According to the complaint, Sapp gave her sex toys as Christmas gifts, urinated in front of her, showed her nude photos of other women, and talked openly about his sex life in front of her and other co-workers at NFL Network. During a radio interview Wednesday, Sapp had an interesting take on the allegations. "I'm still trying to figure out where's the sexual harassment, he told host Andy Slater on WINZ AM in Miami. Sapp admitted to giving coworkers sex toys, but said it wasn't about sex. "We were sitting there around Christmas time, and everybody bought a Christmas gift, a little holiday joy for everybody," Sapp said. "So my man had made a little novelty thing that looked like mascara, eyeliner, and different things. Little toys for ladies that move around a little bit. I showed them pictures, and the makeup artist said, 'Bring me some,' so I brought them some for the makeup ladies." Later on Wednesday, Sapp tweeted a photo of one of the products and wrote, "I'm sorry, thought they were cute." According to the lawsuit, Cantor had to work in the men's restroom as part of her job. That's a little strange. Sapp said during the radio interview that there was once an incident between the two of them when he was in a hurry to use the restroom during a commercial break. "But I did not urinate in front of her. I didn't pee in front of my wife, and I was married to her for 9 years, Sapp said. "It's just not something you do. What is that about? It's not cute, it's not sexual, it's not something you want to see. Last time I checked, if you ate some asparagus, it might stink." Sapp also said he might have shown Cantor a photo of a woman he was dating, but that woman would have been wearing a bikini in the picture. "Where's the harassment at?" Sapp asked Slater. "I'm the notorious one. I'm always the bad guy. That's why I'm in here today. Ain't no hashtag Me Too. Nothing. No sexual harassment. You're not going to put that on me." Sapp was fired by NFL Network after being arrested for soliciting a prostitute in 2015. Cantor's employment with the network ended last year after she was accused of stealing clothes from another employee, an allegation she denies. Several other former and current employees of the network named in the lawsuit, including Marshall Faulk, and Donovan McNabb. So, yeah, there you have it on that. More sexual allegations. I tell you, between all of them there, it sounds like we're talking about a trailer park. I'll tell you what. But anyway, like I said, I didn't have a lot of chance to get into a lot of news because I'm in this. I was really hoping Jay Kidd would be able to show up, and he may yet. But I'm betting that he's going to try to sleep. He said he only had 2 hours, so we're going to go with that. Excuse me while I get a drink of Mountain Dew. So since we're not going to do the news, we'll just skip right on over to the scores. I even have a handy dandy fancy new screen for that. Let's see if this works. Hey, will you look at that? Isn't that nifty? Boy, the old man can learn something. How about that? You can teach an old dog new tricks. How about that? Anyway, so scores. And get my chat over here so I can at least see that. All right, first up on the scores from last week, we have the Saints 17, Falcons 20. Close game. I think most of us probably thought it would be a close game. So really probably no surprise there. This could have probably went either way. This isn't the same without somebody to bounce off of in here. Hey, next 6 minutes. Glad to see you. Next up, Packers 27, Browns 21. We're not really surprised, are we, that the Browns lost? Although I wish we could have had Minding Freedom here for this, since his Packers did win with his quarterback. Boy, this is going to be one of the quickest NFL streams that I've ever done, probably, if I keep up at this rate. So, chat, those few of you that are out there, please interact. If there's something you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Hope you can see I've got the chat up on the screen, so everybody that watches the stream later will be able to see it as well. Since it's just me and you guys, we're gonna make this informal, and we'll just have a little talk here. How about that? Next, boy, this is where I need J-Kid. Lions 24, Buccaneers 21. I'd like to say that I'm surprised that the Buccaneers lost, but I'm not. I'm really not. I think I might have picked the Lions last week, but with my memory, that's a big running joke with the stream and elsewhere. Buccaneers are, they're a team that's heading, in my opinion, probably in the wrong direction. Next up, we have Raiders 15, Chiefs 26. Good to see the Chiefs win another one. They were on quite a slump there for a few weeks. I still think that I don't think they're going to win their division at this point. There's too many glaring holes on their team. And I think that's probably going to go to the Chargers, as we've talked about many times on this stream. But let's take a look here. Hope this stays on the screen. It looks like Derek Carr had a terrible day. Wow. And I guess that means, and boy, I wish we had Minding here. This would have worked a whole lot better. I had a new thing all worked out. This would have worked a whole lot better for if Minding had been here with his little audio bite. But yeah, Mr. Carr here gets to be the recipient of the Jay Cutler Award for the week for the worst, or what I consider the worst, quarterback play of the week. 24 attempts, 24 out of 41, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Now, there were some that had a whole lot less, but I think weather played in it. There was some weather going around the league this week, so I don't want to count those. But yeah, Mr. Carr, you get to have the Jay Cutler Award today. And let's get back to the scores screen. And by the look of the box score here, it was, it was all Chiefs. Raiders got some scores in the fourth quarter. Those I didn't watch the game. Probably some garbage scores by the look at it. Um, and let's go back. Get my chat back so I can see if anybody else comes in. All right, so next up we have Vikings 24, Panthers 31. I'm actually a little bit, excuse me, that's all I need. All by myself and lose my voice. A little bit surprised at that. Really thought the Vikings would come in there. They've been playing really good ball of late. And the Panthers, well, we all know that Cam Newton can be very inconsistent. Let's take a look at the box scores of that one. Looks like Case Keenum was 27 of 44 for 280 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions. Not great, but, you know, I've seen worse this week. Running game certainly was not there at all. Let's look at the Panthers. Cam Newton actually 13 of 25 for 137 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, so not really any better than Case. But it's where the running game is where it looks like they had the advantage. Jonathan Stewart, 16 carries for 103 yards. Cam Newton had 11 carries for 70 yards, so he was on it. And that was enough to put the Minnesota Vikings down for the count. A little surprising for me anyway. Hey, Attack Alpaca. I'm sure there's a delay in the stream. I think there's a little bit more delay with me using OBS than there is just doing regular, so I catch up with chat just as soon as I can. All right, next. 49ers 26, Texans 16. Little bit surprised. I think I did call the 49ers, if I remember correctly. But really wasn't looking for that kind of score. I thought it'd be a whole lot closer. But yeah, I think that the 49ers have found their quarterback for at least the near future in Jimmy Garoppolo. 20 out of 33 attempts, 334 yards, a TD, and an interception. So pretty decent day for Jimmy. On the Texas side, TJ Yates, 14 of 26 for 175 yards, but 2 TDs. And Tom Savage must have come in at least at some point and 6 of 12, 63 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions. So, yeah, the Texans just don't really have a quarterback per se. It was pretty much, by the look of the score, pretty much all San Francisco. Texans never even really had a chance. I want to do a little bit of a test here to see what kind of delay I've got going on. So as soon as you get this, would chat please press 1. As soon as you hear me say this, press 1. That will tell me what kind of delay we've got, because I think we've got a pretty massive delay at the moment. For those of you that just showed up, you missed my new intro. Corey saw it. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Been playing with this OBS all day, and I'm really liking what it can do. I'm amazed that I'm picking it up as quick as I am. There's a whole lot more things you can do with it that I haven't learned yet, but hey, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Wow. It's quite a delay. So far I haven't seen any ones, and it's been about a minute. So still waiting on the ones. Then I'll go forward after that, because I do want to talk about the next game. Wow. By the looks of it, I am guessing we've got about a 2-minute delay, guys, so that's my guess at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead, while I'm waiting to see any ones in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next game, which is Colts 7, Bills 13. Yeah, the Colts found a way to lose again, but I wasn't too mad at them. If anybody, I don't know if anybody watched this game. I don't know if anybody's seen any scenes from this game, but it was amazing from the weather standpoint. It was snowing so hard that you couldn't see from one end zone to the other. When they tried to use the end zone cams, you couldn't see anything. It was just white out, and the grounds crew tried to keep up as much as they could to clean off the lines, but it would just fill right back up. And at one point, it got to about 6 inches of snow on the field. So you can imagine it was all running until the latter half, when it did lighten up a little bit and they were able to pass the ball a little. And that's the reason the biggest reason why the Bills went ahead, got the go-ahead win on this, because they were able to get their passing game going, and we just couldn't. I mean, it just to show you, Jacoby Brissett was 11 of 22 for 69 yards, 1 touchdown. But the Bills quarterbacks weren't any better. Nathan Peterman, 5 of 10 for 57 yards and 1 touchdown. Joe Webb, who started the game but went out with an injury, 2 of 6 for 35 yards and 1 interception. So there was no, that's the reason I didn't include these on the Jay Cutler Award, because there was no passing game because of the snow. And it was an amazing game to watch. It was a throwback to the early days of the earlier days, where teams were much more run heavy, which I enjoy. But there was one thing I wanted to bring up. I seen one thing that I don't think I've ever seen in my life. Our punter for the Colts was punting the ball, got a good piece of the ball for the conditions, punted it, and it hit on the 1 or 2 yard line and did not bounce. That's how deep the snow was there. It hit the 1 or 2 yard line and stayed right there. It was the most amazing and funny thing I've ever seen in my life. Still haven't seen any ones in the chat, so wow, we're looking on several minutes of delay here. Might be as much as, I didn't look at the clock. I was just going by how I feel. But we're looking good 3 to 4 minutes, maybe as much as 5 minutes here. But we'll see what happens. All right. So next up, Bears 33, Bengals 7. I did expect the Bears to win this game. But wow, that was a little bit more of a beating than I expected out of them. Here I am talking about the Bears-Bengals game, and you guys are still talking about the Vikings game 3 games back. So yeah, we've got quite a delay. So bear that in mind, guys, while we're interacting. I've got a pretty heavy delay. In the future, I'll try to figure out how to have a little bit less of a delay. Because I'm still figuring this OBS out. But for now, for today, you're just going to have to bear with me, I'm afraid, and we'll do the best we can. All right. So, anyway, Bears-Bengals game. 33, Bears 33, Bengals 7. We'll take a look at the score here. The Bears, Mitch Trubisky, 25 of 32 for 271 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad day. Wow. Nice day in the rushing category, which would probably, I would say by the look of it, be the story. 23 for Jordan Howard, 23 carries for 147 yards for a 6.4 average and 2 TDs. Nice day for Jordan Howard. You also had Tariq Cohen, had 12 carries for 80 yards for 6.7 average. Mitch Trubisky got a touchdown. So yeah, obviously the rushing game for the Bears was the big story here. The Bears, the only time they didn't lead is through the first quarter, where it was 6-7, but they scored 6 points in the second quarter and never looked back. The Bengals never scored again. Andy Dalton was 14 of 29 for 141 yards, a TD, and an interception. And A.J. McCarron was 4 of 8 for 47 yards. So, yeah, the running game was on fire for the Bears. Good for them. And let me check back with tag. Tack Alpaca says Lions leading the Bears right now 20-3 for anyone who cares. My son, who's probably asleep, J-Kid, probably, and there are the ones finally showing up. There is a good 5-minute delay. That's ridiculous. Good 5-minute delay. I've got to figure out how to lessen that delay, but we're going to have to bear with it for the rest of today, because I don't want to tinker with it while I'm in the middle of a stream. But bear that in mind, guys. It's a good 5 minutes from the time I say something and the time that you're seeing it, at the very least. So next up, sorry, Corey, Cowboys 30, Giants 10. I wish I could say it's a surprise, but it's not. For the Cowboys, Dak Prescott was 20 of 30 for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns. My goodness. Quite a game the young man had there. Quite a game. Wasn't too much to speak of in the rushing category, but with that kind of passing game, who needs it? Oh my goodness. Didn't expect to see that. It was a close game, looked like, all the way up until the fourth quarter. It was 3-0 favored Cowboys in the first, and in the second, Cowboys scored 7 more points, and the Giants scored 10, so it went into halftime tied. The third quarter, nobody scored, but in the fourth quarter, the Cowboys blew up and scored 20 unanswered points. So, wow. Nice. Good on the Cowboys, even though I am a Giants fan. And Corey, like I said, I'm sorry. Eli Manning, 31 of 46, 228 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Wished I could say that was not typical Eli, but we all know that it is. Are you watching on your Attack Alpaca says he's watching on his phone, getting a lot of buffering. Next 6 minutes says he is too. Are you on your phone as well? I mean, it might be my connection, and they've changed the way that you can stream like this. And I am getting a bad, and I can't, there's things that I can't adjust anymore. That I used to be able to, that you used to, even just recently, I learned to do this from Jeff Holiday's videos, if you've seen them, and they're fairly recent, in the last, couple, 3 months, but they have changed things in the Hangouts, and you can't you can't go in and adjust the bit rate and all of that stuff anymore, because they say it's automatic and you don't have to adjust it, but apparently we do. I wished I could I wished it would let me go in there, but it's not. And I'm sorry, guys. If this keeps up, I may have to just go back to regular Hangouts, but I thought I'd give it a try. So, yeah, bear with me. I'm sorry. Thought maybe we could do this, but apparently, since it won't let me change the bit rate from my end to lower it, it's, yeah. Maybe there's something in OBS I can change to change that. I'll look into that after the stream. So I hope it doesn't get too bad for you. All right, next up, Titans 7, Cardinals 12. I'm a little surprised at that. I really thought that the Titans would come back and do that. Would take this game. Yeah, next 6 minutes, there's probably something screwy on my end. And unfortunately, YouTube in their infinite wisdom have taken away some of the things we're able to do in live streaming, and I can't go fix it. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, bit of a surprise for me there. Let's look at the scores. Maybe we'll see what the, yeah, Marcus didn't have a terrific day. 16 of 31 for 159 yards, 2 interceptions. So, yeah. It's not like it wasn't a terribly close game, because it was. Blaine Gabbert didn't have much of a better day, except minus the interception. 17 of 26 for 178. And they just had that little bit more to be able to win the game. Jets next. Jets 0, Broncos 23. I'm a little surprised at this, although it was a pick'em on who's the worst team. I almost picked Josh McCown as my Jay Cutler Award of the week. Probably should have. 6 of 12 for 46 yards and an interception, but I was not clear on what the weather was like during that game, since I didn't see any of it. Trevor Simon, 19 of 31 for 200 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, quarterback play seems to be the story of that game. Next, Redskins 13, Chargers 30. Wow. I'm pretty sure I picked the Chargers. I'm still not ready to jump on the Chargers bandwagon, but I seriously do think that they're going to win this division. They're certainly heading the right direction, and they're playing some really strong football this year. So, yeah, what can you say? I think pretty much that was probably expected. Next, Seahawks 24, Jaguars 30. I don't recall who I picked, but I can't say that I'm super surprised. The Jaguars have played really good football this year, and I think probably have the best defense in the NFL at this moment. They are phenomenal. Take that from somebody whose team has gotten beat badly by the Jaguar team twice this season. And we've all seen what they've done so far this year. So, yeah, Seahawks were away from home, didn't have that 12th man, and had quite a whooping put on them. Close game all the way up to the second half. In fact, the only score was a field goal by Jacksonville Jaguars in the first quarter. And then the scoring started. And the Seahawks done the best they could to try to catch up, but looks like it was just too little, too late. Russell Wilson was 17 of 31 for 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Would have been a nice looking stat if it hadn't been for those 3 interceptions. Blake Bortles, 18 of 27 for 268 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette had 24 carries for 101 yards for a 4.2 average. Nothing to scream home about, but respectable, and a touchdown. So, yeah, not only did they do it on the defensive side, apparently, because we had those 2 picks, but they done exactly what they needed to do on the offensive side. So, yeah, Jaguars look for real this year. I just do not see them losing this division at all. I mean, it's absolutely theirs for the taking. And seeing how the Titans and the Texans both lost, yeah, I don't see any. But the Colts are completely out of the picture. Uh, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Next up, Eagles 43, Rams 35. Hey, G. Bronner, 5 minutes from now, you're going to hear me tell you hello. Light another cigarette. All right. So, next, Eagles 43, Rams 35. Wow. I think I probably picked the Rams, but I can't say that it's entirely surprised. These are through really good teams. This was not an easy pick to make. Look at the box scores. Carson Wentz was 23 of 41 for 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Nick Foles looked like he come in for a little bit, 6 of 10 and 42 yards. That was for the Eagles. Rams, Jared Goff, 16 of 26, 199 yards, 2 TDs. So not a bad day for him either. Rushing was respectable on the Rams side. Appeared to be. Todd Gurley had 13 carries for 96 yards for a 7.4 average and 2 touchdowns in his own right. And Jay Ajayi was the leader on the Eagles for 15 carries, 78 yards for 5.2 average. So Rams win it in the rushing category, but looks like the Eagles just had one more passing TD, just enough to win the game. Surprising for me, a little bit surprising, but not amazingly surprising because we both know that they're both very good teams. And this loss certainly should not reflect too badly on the Rams because I still believe they're a very, very good team. Next up, Ravens 38, Steelers 39. Wow, very close game. Was catching up with chat there. The Ravens, Joe Flacco, 20 of 35, 269 yards. Two touchdowns and 1 interception. Oh my goodness, Alex Collins rushed for 18 carries, 120 yards, 66.7 average, 1 TD. Javoris Allen only had 25 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Wow. Quite a rushing game they had going on there for the Ravens. Steelers, and that's the big surprise out of this game is that the Steelers were, or that the Ravens were even in it. I figured the Steelers would whoop on them a little harder than this. Ben Roethlisberger, 44 of 66 for 506 yards. Man, sometimes I tell you what, Ben, as much as I don't like the Steelers, and I do not like the Steelers, for me, they are just a tad below the Patriots on my teams I don't like list. But got to give credit where credit's due. Sometimes he's the man. 506 yards for 2 TDs. Not nearly as good in the rushing category. Le'Veon Bell, 13 carries for only 48 yards for 3.7 average, but he had 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, really close fought game. and it looked like the Baltimore Ravens might have had it well in hand at the half, but the Steelers made a fourth quarter comeback. Baltimore Ravens didn't score anything in the first quarter. Steelers scored 7. Ravens scored 14 in the second quarter. Steelers scored 13. But in the third quarter, the Ravens scored 17 points. Unanswered points in the third quarter. And the fourth quarter, Ravens scored 7. Steelers scored 19. So just enough. 1 point to get the job done. Sounds like it would have been a pretty fun game to watch, especially for Steelers fans. Would have kept you on the edge of your seat. Hey, Monk. And again, in about 5 minutes, you'll get this message because I've got about a 5-minute delay. Still trying to figure out this OBS thing. And let's go back to the scores. Next, Patriots 20, Dolphins 27. Oh my gosh. Anytime the Patriots lose, I love it. I'm sorry, you can hate on me if you want. I know it's considered to be bandwagon to hate on the Patriots because everybody does. But I'm a Colts fan, and you've got to understand the history we've had with the Patriots, especially back to the Peyton Manning days. I have reason to hate them. They've knocked us out of a lot of big games. We've had some comeback, you know, but for the most part, yeah, don't like the Patriots. Tom Brady, 24 of 43 for 233 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Wow. No rushing at all. The highest rusher was Dion Lewis for 5 carries for 17 yards for 3.4 average. Rex Burkhead had 8 yards, but he had 1 TD. Dolphins. Jay Cutler had 25 of 38 for 263 yards for 3 touchdowns. You go, Jay. You know, I know you get dissed on this stream a lot, but you go, dude. Rushing game was much better, which is probably part of the story there. Kenyon Drake, 25 carries for 114 yards. No TDs out of any of the rushers. But with the kind of game that Jay Cutler had, you really don't need a good rushing game. Looks like the yards were spread around pretty evenly among the receivers, but you had Jarvis Landry with 2 touchdowns. You had Jakeem Grant with 1. Yeah. And you had Xavier Howard with those 2 picks, both to the same guy. Hey, Brady, if that guy picks you off, maybe not throw at him the next time. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that, but, right. Wow. All right, let's scroll this and keep this up. That brings us up to the Thursday night game. Broncos 25, Colts 13. Watch this too while I was trying to watch the Lords of the Night stream. And my goodness, if any game this year has typified the Colts just finding a way to lose, this one did. Again, we should have won this game. We are a good enough team, as bad as we are, to beat the Broncos. Should have won this game. We started the game off well, 7-0 in the first quarter. After that, second quarter, the Denver Broncos answered with a touchdown of their own. We added a field goal. So we went into half leading. And again, in the second half, we just couldn't get it done. The only difference is that the slip happened in the third quarter where it normally happens in the fourth quarter lately. But to me, it's just another case of we just couldn't get it done. Broncos quarterback play, Brock Osweiler. Well, this game started with Trevor Seaman, however you say that, Simon. 5 of 9 for 67 yards. He looked terrible, and 1 interception, and he got hurt during that. And if they had kept him in, I think we probably would have won this game. But who knew Brock Osweiler was going to come in, throw for 12 of 17. 12 of 17 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that wasn't even the big story, folks. C.J. Anderson run 30 carries for 158 yards, 5.3 yard average. Didn't get any TDs, but goodness gracious, he was moving them up and down the field. I watched this game live. It was just ridiculous. The way he was running on us. And we've got a better run defense than that. I don't know what's going on. Of course, the injury bug has hit this team all year long. The Colts, I mean. Not making excuses for them, but they should have won this game. I'm disappointed that they didn't. But it really makes no difference at this point because the Colts are out of the picture. Hey, you know, the more losses at this point, the better the pick, I guess. The only thing they're playing for now is just for pride. Get my chat window back up. The delay is normal. Well, usually I only get like a 30-second delay, Monk. Today I seem to be getting about 5 minutes, at least with some of the people here. So it's quite a delay. Yes, I did see them attack Alpaca. I saw them 5 minutes after I asked that. So, hey, Monkey. What's going on? God, could have used you at the beginning of the stream, and I wouldn't have been doing this by myself. I'm glad to see everybody show up. It's a good time for me to go through again. Minding Freedom is not here. Jake is not here either. Reason is he only slept 2 hours. And he works for Walmart. They got Christmas coming up, so you can imagine what he's going through right now. He said he might try to make it, but I wasn't really expecting him. However, Minding Freedom is not here. And probably won't be for the rest of the season. He's having some personal issues. You can go to his Twitter account, look at his tweets. You'll see an explanation of what's going on there. He's thinking of leaving the internet. He does, and this is nothing that isn't out there. We had a conversation, and it's on also on his Twitter. He's got involved with a mess that he didn't have anything to do with, but because of it, he's being threatened to be doxxed, and they do have his information. So he's a little afraid, and I don't blame him. I do miss him, though. I wished I had him in here for this. Monkey, when the minutes from now, because I'm getting a huge delay, and you get this, if you want to come in, dude, let me know in the chat. I'll get you in here, and you can be 5 minutes behind along with me. How about that? Maybe we'll get you in here in time to make the tweets, the picks for next week. How about that? All right. Okay. I'm trying to catch up with chat there, seeing what everybody says. I guess some of you are still getting the buffering. Next is being played right now, so we don't have the score. Bears at Lions. Somebody wants to give me... oh, maybe this will tell me an update. Let's see. As of right now, the Lions, according to this, the Lions are beating the Bears 20-3 in the third quarter. So, interesting. All right. So, that brings us up to the picks for next week. I'm going to pause here before I get into them, just to see if Monkey can come in. If he can't, I do understand. Monkey's a busy guy. But, yeah, if I do this some more, and I thank everybody for their patience, if I do this some more, hopefully we'll figure out why it's buffering so badly. I mean, I've generally got a pretty decent connection. I do use cable. However, it's Comcast, so, you know, you never know about that. Yeah, and it says bad on my stream status page. Like I said, stupid YouTube in the last week or two, maybe, yeah. They removed the ability to change my bit rate and all of that stuff because they say now that you don't have to, it's automatic. And for the life of me, I can't see anywhere to change that. So, yeah. I can't change it on that end. So hopefully there's some changes I can do on OBS that will make that a little bit better. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to tinker around with that. While I'm in the middle of a stream, it's unfair to you guys. I'll do another test stream sometime, either tomorrow or through the week, and maybe we can figure out what the issue is together. How about that? But checking the chat there. Well, I'm so glad all you guys come out for unknown little old me. Oh, and by the way, while I have you all here, and I'm taking a little bit break on the scores, I'm only 5 subscribers away from 800. And if I get to 800, then that makes me only 200 away from that 1,000 mark. Now, it's no big deal. I don't gauge my channel by my subscribers. But I'd like to hit 1,000 just to say that I did. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, you know, I do more than these NFL live streams. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider it. If you are, and you know people that might like it, please tell them. You know, I just need 5 more to get over that 800 mark. G. Bronard, it's all right to be a smart butt. That's allowed on my streams, and I'm sure everybody in my chat would allow that too. Giants should just leave and come back next year. I'm sorry, Corey. I really am. But consider where I'm at. They're my second favorite team. My favorite team is the Colts, and they're not doing that much better. So yeah, I've had it rough all the way around this NFL season. G. Bonner, I personally think it's YouTube's fault. Part of it is because they won't let me change the settings anymore. They've took those settings away in our live stream page, in our live stream settings. Like I said, I learned to do this from Jeff Holliday's series of videos that he's done on it. They were very helpful. But even since and those videos are only a few weeks old, a couple of months old at most. Since those have been put out, in that time they changed the way that you can handle your events as far as the settings, because it looks different than what he has, and he's able to do things in that I can't. And if I could, I would probably be putting across a much better stream with a whole lot less buffering. But yeah, YouTube's got to try to get fancy. Stupid YouTube. They ought to, if they're going to do that, they ought to at least leave a option where you can do it anyway, even though it says you don't have to do this anymore with explanation points. Stupid YouTube. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a few more minutes before I get into the score. We've got time because I went through those in a hurry since I have nobody to bounce off of. I sure miss Minding. Gonna miss him for the rest of the year, but I sure understand it. My Attack Alpaca might be time for the Giants to throw the season for Baker Mayfield, Corey. Yeah, I mean, there's no point in them even trying to win another game. They just as well lose out and grab that good pick, you know. I think it's pretty likely that Cleveland is going to have that first pick. But yeah, I don't think that the Giants are going to pick any lower than second, probably. Let me scroll up. Boy, this is how bad that yeah, Browns lost. That's how bad my memory is. I just talked about that game just a little while ago, and I already forgot what the score of the Packers-Browns game was. Terrible, terrible memory. Oh, okay. There's also another game that will be played later tonight. Chargers at Chiefs. Should be an interesting game, and I may very well be watching that. It depends on how I feel. The only place I've got a TV in the house right now is in my bedroom, which means I have to lay in my bed to watch TV, which means I have to bring my computer in if I want to watch the Lords of the Night or listen to Lords of the Night stream too. And it's, without going into all the detail, it's a hassle. It's a rigmarole I really don't want to go through. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Well, I haven't seen Monkey post anymore since that initial post, so he might have just come in, seen the buffering, and left. So I guess I'll go ahead then with the scores. Let me check something real quick. Okay. Thanks, guys. The next 6 minutes, I did get your DM. I'll answer it as soon as the stream it. Well, I can just sure. I can do that. Yeah. I'm the only one in the house tonight, and if you're talking about tonight. Yeah, I can do that. I don't know whose channel it's on tonight, but you can let me know all that, and we'll take care of it at 11 o'clock tonight. Yeah, I can do that. My wife actually is putting in some extra hours and working tonight, so I'm the only one in the house. Imagine that. This is not something that happens a lot for me, amazingly. So. buffering is constant from Monk. Thanks, Attack Alpaca, for answering the question for the next 6 minutes. Yeah, boy, this buffering is terrible. I'm sorry, guys. If there's a way I could fix this right now, I would. But we're just going to have to live with it the best I can. So I'm going to go through the scores that are left. And Minding did give me picks for this week. So I'll go ahead and do that as well. Let me get back to my Twitter. And scroll back to where his excuse me, where his picks are. All right, there we are.